Good morning. Welcome to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear members of the EFFAS Commission on ESG. I would like to welcome everyone, both some in person in Frankfurt and those joining virtually via Zoom. On behalf of EFFAS, the European Federation of Financial Analyst Societies, and our EFFAS Commission on ESG, to our annual EFFAS ESG conference, organized with the friendly support of DVFA, the Society for Investment Professionals in Germany. My name is Fritz Mostböck. I'm the president of the Austrian Association for Financial Analysis and Asset Management, OVFA, and the deputy chairman of EFFAS. In that function, I'm still a member of the EFFAS Commission on ESG, where I was in October 2007, a founding member and chairman for 10 years. In a nutshell, what is ESG about? Everyone, as human beings, investors, analysts, company officials, or other stakeholders, who is interested in future generations, has their own responsibility to secure the greatest transparency in an effort to restore trust. This means the highest responsibility requirements in terms of environmental, social, and governance issues. All of us stakeholders who are active on capital markets have to take greater responsibility to create a better environment according to ESG principles. Capital markets are obliged in that respect because listed companies still produce the majority of global GDP and economic value added. Therefore, we have to further attract and convince investors, analysts, traders, and other capital market participants to embrace these issues. Otherwise, financial markets will, in times such as these, simply not function in a proper way, and the current capital market system in place will not be able to restore trust on a wide scale. Moreover, stock-listed companies will only be able to compete in the longer term if they focus on ESG compliant business and production facilities. Why? Because the pressure on capital markets to do so is enormous and will increase further. ESG has already become a mainstream trend. As an example, the market share of sustainable investment funds in the asset management industry in 2007, when we founded our commission, was roughly around 3%. It is now around 35% in relation to total assets under management on a global scale. This means that the future ESG orientation has to be implemented, opening a wide range of new business opportunities and sectors. Before I close, I would like to mention our EFFAS ESG training program. In 2014, EFFAS launched the so-called CESG, the EFFAS Certified ESG Analyst, to accredit professionals in advising on socially responsible investment, which not only considers profitability, but also social and environmental impact and good governance practices. A total of more than 2,200 professionals around the world have already finished the EFFAS certified ESG analyst program with a presence in 63 different countries. Since 2019, the number of certified holders has been growing rapidly in markets other than Europe, such as Asia, South America, etc. The program is available completely online, both the training for its preparation and the exam. In this way, it is accessible to candidates from around the world. And in closing, I would like to congratulate you for this event and all of you for your effort and participation to directly face our common future and challenges. Thanks for your attention and attendance. I wish you a very successful conference. And now I'm handing over to Frank. Thank you.
Fritz, thank you very much for this warm welcome and opening remarks. I would also like to welcome you here from the DVFA Center in Frankfurt. My name is Frank Klein. I'm the board member of DVFA, and I'm the co-head of the EFFAS ESG Commission. And as Fritz already outlined, we are very proud to be here, given the circumstances. And you know that it has been hard, especially in the last 2-3 weeks when the COVID crisis really increased. And so we are glad that we have this program here. And when I remember 2 years ago, almost, we were sitting with about 70 of us in Paris at Monte Rothschild with my friend Jean-Philippe Desmartins and having the last ESG EFFAS conference. And we have a long legacy. I think we started in 2006, 2007 with the first ESG EFFAS taking ESG into consideration conference. And I think we had a long way to go from there to here. And as Fritz already outlined, the topic really took off in the last few years from investors' point of view, from the regulation point of view, the users one. So I think we are in the middle of this very interesting topic. I would like at the very beginning to give you a bit of an idea what we are planning with the agenda, do some housekeeping remarks before we start with the keynote. You have seen the agenda. And I think we put together a very interesting program. We have about 8 different topics. These 8 different topics include 3 panels. Obviously, we would like you to be as interactive as possible. So from the one point of view to the 10 to 15 people here in the room so far in Frankfurt at the DVFA Center. But the same goes for all the people who are online, and we have about 250 registrations so far. So let's do it as interactive as possible. That means you see the chat function in the Zoom. Please use them. And we always have the same procedure. When the speaker will have finished the presentation, then we will have questions raising here in person from the audience in Frankfurt at the DVFA Center. And then we turn to the online audience. So your questions will be forwarded and asked. And this is the procedure as far as Q&A sessions is concerned. Let me turn to the agenda to give you a quick heads up what we can expect from today's topics. And I think we have a pretty packed agenda. And accordingly, as you know, we are doing a hybrid conference. And therefore, we gave it a go by saying we'd rather go for more topics with less time than the other way around, because that's easier to digest, especially for the online users and the online registrations. So we'll start with a keynote about the state of the art on sustainability reporting standards. Afterwards, a very interesting topic for all the practitioners involved, implementation of climate goals and strategies in asset management. And I think that's right now the name of the game for a lot of investors all over the world. The next topic is taxonomy contribution to ESG in Europe. And I think we all have to cope with the current regulation. Therefore, I'm glad that we have Jose Luis with us who can give us direct an input from the horse's mouth. And then before the lunch break, we have the first ESG panel, corporate reporting and disclosure panel. And I think this will be a very intense discussion because as we have seen, the ISSB is being set up here in Frankfurt on January 1st. And then we will have a complete new marketplace. And I think having said this, we will see a very interesting discussion also with your interaction. After the lunch break, we will then continue with also a practitioner topic, ESG and SAA for multi-asset strategies. And I think considering the past, ESG was very much considered to be a bottom-up strategy. And here you'll get an idea from the strategies point of view, how can you incorporate ESG topics into your strategical asset allocation with multi-asset portfolios. Afterwards, we will have a second panel, the latest trends in ESG. So also a quite mixture of participants. So I guess we will also have a very intense discussion on that. And afterwards, Professor Bassen will give us an idea and the latest update on the EFFAS CESG program, as Fritz already outlined in the opening remarks. Where are we? Where are we going to? How is this program going to be developed going further? What are we going to plan from a content point of view and what have you? And last but not least, the third panel with the header Human Capital, Reputation, IP, Innovation Capacity, and the question, are intangibles the missing link between finance and sustainability? And I think there you can see a lot of content, a lot of discussion, a lot of disruption. So I think I'm really looking forward to have this panel here and also have an intense discussion on that. And definitely last but not least, my fellow Jean-Philippe Desmartins will then do the closing remarks for the day. So you see, we have a packed agenda, and without any further ado, I will then hand over to my colleague, co-head of the EFFAS ESG Commission, Jean-Philippe Desmartins, to introduce the keynote. Jean-Philippe, the floor is yours.